Folks, welcome to the Crack House Podcast. My name is Mike O'Sullivan. With me today, you've seen this guy. He's been at the Just for Laughs Festival up in Montreal, Canada. He's been on MTV. He works clubs all over the country. He's a New York comic. He's open for guys like Bill Burr, Bobby Lee. You've seen him everywhere. He's what did I just see him in? He was just on No Disrespect with Mike Vecchione. I saw that podcast. Welcome to the Crack House, Alex Pavone.
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Pretty good. I didn't know that this was called the Crack House. I thought it was like Crake House. I can't read apparently, but I was like,
no, it's Gaelic.
Crake House, Crack House. Okay, but you spelled it in a way so it's not like crack.
It's the Gaelic. The Gaelic word crack doesn't mean crack.
What does it mean?
It's like when you go down to like the bar and you're hanging out with like 3 or 4 of your friends, just shooting the shit.
Okay.
You have a good crack because you're just shooting the shit.
Oh.
Like the next day, a big thing is like, say you weren't there. I was there with 3 or 4 other friends. You'll come up and go, "How was the crack last night?"
So
that's where it's a little play on words. A little play on words.
That's cool. No, it's and you nailed the play on words.
Yeah.
You nailed it. It doesn't get more accurate than that. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I saw you last week at the super secret show that no one can kind of talk about.
No, we're not allowed to.
I just watched Andy Fiore was there Wednesday.
Okay.
And he was talking about it on his show. And he goes, "I can't say the name of the place, but I had a great time. It was a great show. I had a great time."
Good.
But yeah, you were great.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
And Mike Albanese was on. And Mike was great too. And I hope to have him on down the road. And
yeah,
it was. You guys did a great show. It really,
good, I'm glad. It's good to hear, especially during this time where shows are few and far between. So it's nice to, shows are tough, right? So you do one every couple weeks. You want to do well, and if you don't do well, it eats you alive. So
now, Alex is Canadian, correct?
Correct.
Now you born there or born in Italy? I remember you saying
No. My parents are born in Italy.
Your parents, okay.
Yeah. Well, my dad's born in Italy. My mom, I think her parents came like 2 months before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're Italian.
Now, here's the thing: Canada and like we don't know each other. I really don't think. I think like Canada and America, we don't like. I know Canada from TV. Did you know America growing up just from TV?
No, from everything. We know everything about you.
See, we know nothing about you.
I know. That's what we like.
Yeah.
We like it that way. No, yeah, for sure. We know everything about the States. Everything. That's what we call you guys, by the way. Just in case you didn't know, the States.
We don't call you guys anything. It's just
you don't call
Canada.
us
It's just Canada. Just Canada. Up north.
I know. I've lived here long enough. You guys sometimes you don't even call us Canada. You call us, some people call it Canada. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Canada, yeah. Well, yeah, we know everything about you. Yeah, for sure. I took American history. I took some classes, American classes and stuff like that. So we're well versed.
Huh. All right. And now you live in Astoria, correct?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Now, I grew up in Astoria. Astoria has changed in the last 30 years. It's totally, you still have the Greek influence. When I was a kid growing up there in the 80s, it was like living in Cyprus.
Yeah.
Most of the storefronts had Greek lettering. I mean, Ditmars Boulevard, right?
Yeah.
At one point in the 80s, they were trying to rename it Athens Avenue. That's how big the influence was. Everything, just like Socrates is here. They have a Socrates part. They had this. It was everything. Dead lambs hanging in the window, but that wasn't like few and far between the way it is now. That was like every block that had a butcher shop. The influence was so much there. I don't know how close you live to the last stop on the queue. The last stop on the queue where the post office.
The queue? I don't know where the queue is now. It's the W and the N.
The N maybe. Where the last stop is on Ditmars.
Yes.
That last stop where the post office is.
Okay.
When I was a kid, that was a Greek movie theater that only showed movies from Greece. That's how Greek the neighborhood was.
The Greeks are wild. I mean, they're like Italians, right? So I think I got, being Italian, I have sort of the green light to sort of make fun of them, right? But the pride that the Greeks have is second to none. Like, Italians are prideful. Portuguese, I don't know if you know Portuguese people.
One of my best friends is Portuguese.
They're out of control.
Growing up, yeah.
And the Greeks, and we're all pretty similar, but there is a Greek place, a Greek coffee shop that's right below us, and they're full on Greek people, and they're insane. Have you ever had a Greek coffee?
Yeah.
There's no lid because they want the Greek. They told me, I go, why isn't there a lid? They want the Greek to hit you in the face. What the hell is that? They want the Greek in you.
There was so many like Greek people in the. I went to Catholic school. Greek Orthodox kids, because the Greek Orthodox schools were full, had to come to Catholic schools. That's what it was like. That's how many, like, I mean, every diner was, every diner's Greek anyway.
Exactly,
but the Neptune diner over there, Mike's diner when I was a kid, we always, Uncle George's, everybody.
I got a buddy, Efthymios Nasiopoulos. He's a comedian from Canada, and his parents are off the boat too. So every time there's some sort of Greek shit going on in my neighborhood, I'll text them and be like, what the fuck what are the Greeks up to today? But a couple weeks ago, they were singing for like 3 days straight. Every morning, they were just singing. So I hit him up. I go, what the hell's going on here? Why are you guys singing today and the last 3 days? And he was like, oh, it was when the Italians invaded Greece in World War II, and we beat them. So he first of all, he was pumped to tell me that. And I was like, how long did you guys beat us for? And he's like, oh, just a day. I'm like, well, why are they singing for 3 days? Just sing for 1 day. I'm happy for you guys. What, Jesus Christ, make it 1 day. You want 1 day, sing for 1 day.
Yeah, you have not even a half a day. It's been so long. Make it a half a day.
Can I tell you this?
Yeah.
Can I tell you this? Sorry. So me and my girlfriend live here, right? And we get, during the pandemic, her parents were sending us packages and sending us, stuff, obviously, they're great people. So they were just making sure we were okay, sending us stuff. My girlfriend hates olives, okay? Hates olives. Her dad knows I like olives. They send us olives and olive oil, okay, to our apartment. Stolen. The olives and olive oil, stolen. We got packages every day for 6 months, nothing touched. Olives were there for 6 hours. The Greeks snagged them. You can never leave olives around the Greeks. I learned that. And any olive product, 6 hours. We had shit down there that was way more valuable, not touched.
That's like a sack of money.
Snagged them.
Yeah. Those Kalamaka olive, whatever. Those olives are delicious. Those are the only olives I'll eat. Those Greek olives
we wouldn't know what we had because the Greeks snapped them up.
Oh. Now, have you been back to Canada since the pandemic at all?
Yeah, once.
Now, how's it up there? How's it going up there?
It's not going great because they opened shit up early, but they were doing a good job, and it's more. They monitor it a bit more. They're more like, there's more tracing for sure.
Well, it always seems like we always feel Canada's the most polite people anyway. You're like I always feel Canada. I'm gonna watch this joke I'm gonna throw out. You can use this, Alex. We're like cousins that meet every 15 years at a grandparent's funeral.
Okay.
Hey, how you been? Hey, I don't know much. Oh, you're into this now? Oh, Dave Matthews. Okay, yeah.
Is Dave Matthews Canadian?
I don't know. No, he's African. He's like South Africa, or born in South Africa, something like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think he grew up. Yeah, that's
pretty fair.
All we know,
we know everything about you. You don't know again. We follow you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and you guys don't follow us back. That's what the fuck it is. You guys are too busy doing your own shit.
Yeah, like baseball. All right, you got rid of one team. Now you only got the blue. Yeah, like baseball. We look at you guys playing it like, oh, that's cute. And the way you look at us probably playing hockey, like, oh, that's cute. That's nice. They're trying. You guys are trying. But
we fear you a little more than you would fear us in baseball. That's for sure.
Yeah. But what's the national sport of Canada? I found this out.
Lacrosse.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't understand at all.
It's because it's the native. It's
the Native American. Yeah.
Sport.
Like,
have you played lacrosse?
No, that was not a city thing. You need that open space, and Queens doesn't really have.
There's indoor lacrosse.
There was professional when I was a kid out at Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, they
used to have a pro. I don't know if I think they still do. They re-up it, and most of those guys have like straight jobs.
Yes,
and that's their like weekend gig or whatever. It's playing a game.
Do you watch hockey?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know John Tavares?
Yes.
His uncle is the best lacrosse player I think of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's called the National Lacrosse League. I've never really been. I think I went to one game. I'm not really a lacrosse guy. I played soccer in the summer.
Yeah.
So, but it's brutal. And in like the reserves where the reservations where the natives live, apparently that shit's like Friday Night Lights. Like people
go. Well, that's their game. It's their game,
Yeah, they're tough. They're tough.
Yeah. I remember the one thing I remember, like American history in school, when they talk about lacrosse, like the Indians would die playing the game. Yeah. That's how brutal the game was.
Yeah. They're tough. They're tough over there, and they care about it. They're very passionate about it. So
yeah, in the States, if you're not in like a suburban area, and for the most part, lacrosse is more like East Coast down to like maybe Maryland, and then you have, I know Minnesota's like for some reason a big spot, and I think it's like one other state, because I worked with
North Dakota or something.
Yeah, I worked with one guy. He actually played it in college, and he broke it down where it's big, and it's only like 5 or 6 states, and that's it.
Yeah. Thank God I never played. It looked too crazy, and plus I played hockey. So how much of a beating can I take?
Yeah, you're already off.
Yeah.
Now, is that like the prerequisite for a kid growing up? Like you're automatically into hockey, like no matter what, for the most part?
Hockey, I was lucky because hockey's an expensive sport, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because you gotta like ice time's expensive, and obviously the equipment and stuff like that. But I was lucky because my parents were able to afford it. So I was thrust into hockey pretty early. But I'm not a big guy, so it sucked because I was actually pretty good, but at a certain level you just take a beating.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys. One of my friends, his son was a goalie, the backup goalie, and it's $4,000-$5,000 he was spending in equipment. And he goes, the kid saw maybe 5 minutes of ice time.
That sucks.
Like, because the kid he was backing up was going like Division I. So you're done. You're just,
that's not gonna be good.
10 goals up, 10 goals down. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, do you go to Long Island City a lot too?
I mean, it's right there a little bit. That's a dog.
There's the dog.
Yeah, I go to Long Island City a bit. Yeah.
I mean, nice. that was also a big change growing up. That was not in the 80s. That was junkies and hookers. That's it. It was nothing. There was nothing there.
Isn't Long Island City where Coming to America was?
No, they filmed part of that in Brooklyn, and the actual McDowell's itself used to be on Queens Boulevard and like Grand Avenue over in like the Maspeth border there.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually, it was a Wendy's, and it got torn down about 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the building that they're doing when you went into the Wendy's, when you went back to the bathroom, there were pictures up from when they were filming the movie.
Really?
So yeah. And I'd say it's about 10 years. Somebody bought the land, just tore it down, and that was it. But I think a lot of it was, the parts of it were Jackson Heights where they filmed, but I think where they were living, someone said it was Brooklyn, I believe, where it was filmed.
I always thought it was Long Island City, but I don't know. Nonetheless, great movie. But yeah, I heard about Long Island City being, a really bad neighborhood. Yeah. And, I used to perform there. There used to be 2 little comedy clubs there. Actually, one shut down yesterday, which I was
going to bring that up. Yeah, the Creek and the Cave. Terrible news.
But yeah, it sucks because that was a place where a lot of comics started, popular comics too, and it was just a good community. But but yeah, it's right there. It's right in Long Island City, right by the water and stuff like that. So it's real nice there. There's all condos there now, and
those the big condos. There were like 2 big condos built in like early 2000, and the reason they were built, Bloomberg was the mayor. He wanted to get the Olympics. I think it was like the 2012 Olympics. That was supposed to be Olympic Village. And that was where they were going to live. And they were trying to figure out all around the city where they were going to do the certain events. But that was going to be Olympic Village. It fell through. It fell through. And then the neighborhood just started to thrive. And they built everything up. Like when I was a kid, there was only one thing there. It's down by the water. It was a restaurant called the Waterfront Crab House, which isn't even there anymore. That was like the only thing down there. You had a few little residential buildings and that restaurant. Like along Vernon Boulevard, you had a few little shops, and that was it. Nothing else. It's now it's amazing now.
It's interesting though, because the bad areas in Toronto that got gentrified, look exactly like that place, Long Island City.
Yeah,
the big condos, and I mean, it sort of reminds me a little bit of Toronto in that area. So it's not really my favorite part of New York. I just don't like all the big condos like that all look the same.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. There's just a lack of character, and not that area isn't nice, but it just sort of, I love Astoria. I like the old buildings. I like I like a mix of shit.
Well, they filmed so much. I mean, they used to film so many TV shows there too, and movies.
Yeah.
The beginning of Goodfellas is all Astoria.
Yeah.
When he's a kid. Yeah. Serpico. You go back to
really?
There's 2 scenes when he chases the guy. Remember when he chases the guy and then the cops shoot at him? He's arresting the guy. That's the last stop there at Ditmars. He chases him off the train and through the little alleyway where the bank is. If you know Astoria, that's it.
I know the last stop.
Yeah.
I used to live at the last stop. Well, Kaufman Studios is right there too, right?
But Kaufman was dead for years. And then Bill Cosby he did the Cosby Show there, I think, the last few years.
Yeah.
And that revitalized Kaufman because they were dormant it wasn't a lot of work being done there. And then when he got the show there, I think they brought Sesame Street there.
Yes.
Everything just revitalized in that neighborhood up there. They made that museum a moving image and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm right there. It's cool. It's cool to know these things where like you know something. There's some sort of history, but you don't know fully how it, so that's cool.
And Seinfeld's house, Costanza's house is on like 35th Street.
Really?
Like 30. The outside of George Costanza's house is either 35th or 37th Street on like 30th Avenue over there.
Really?
Yeah. I can look
in Astoria.
Yes.
I gotta check that. I might actually, when I'm done with this, I might actually go there and walk and check it out.
Google, it'll give you the exact address, and I think there's actually a YouTube video.
Frank and Estelle's home.
Yes, the outside of Frank and Estelle's home is Astoria. I always used to watch Seinfeld going, that looks so damn familiar. What is that? And then finally, I just looked one day and I'm like, yeah, I think it's 35th or 37th.
Can I ask you a question as a New Yorker who you obviously you grew up here. When I'm having trouble with this. Anything that's set in New York now, I struggle focusing on the storyline, and I'm looking at the background, and I'm looking at the stores and the streets, and I'm like, where the fuck is this? Like that place has a deli there, but it's not this place, and I miss so much shit. And I got to always rewind it and go, we got to play that one back because I'm looking at houses, like subway stops. I go, that subway stop's always under construction. What the hell are we talking about? That's not a thing. So does that happen to you?
Yeah. Or I'll watch it when it says it's like set in New York and you start watching it, you're like, that's not New York. The street signs don't look like that in New York. That's Canada. That's Toronto. That's
a lot Canada. Of places.
Well, how many? Canada, right? They film up there all the time, right?
Yeah.
And they say it's New.
Can I just tell you it's Toronto with no second T?
Toronto?
That's it. If you're part of the team when you say it like that.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like if no one says Atlanta, it's like that. Toronto.
Okay. I'll
There it
remember
is.
now. Yeah, that might get me out of a fight one day. So I'll
You
definitely
might,
keep that.
it might.
I'm Toronto. Come on, man. Give me a break. Eh? You don't
Yeah,
say that. I haven't
I
heard
do.
you say that. Do you?
I do. And I even text it sometimes too. I don't even realize.
What?
I'll throw it in the text. Yeah. I say A and I say buddy all the time.
Buddy? Oh, Buddy's a big
Buddy's enormous.
Okay.
Huge.
Buddy.
It's a big one. I didn't even know.
It's not like a Pauly Shore buddy, right? It's not like a buddy, just buddy.
No.
No.
We don't. I don't think we want anything to do with Pauly Shore. Our buddies are separate from Pauly Shore's buddies.
Pauly's a national treasure. Pauly is a national treasure. So what do you think as an outsider? What do you think of the election so far? What are you enjoying this miniseries?
No, I miss my politics. I miss boring politics. I want to go back to when I see politics on TV and I go, oh, fuck me, and change. That's what I want. That's how I'm used to it. And that's what I want it to be again. It's fun for a little bit. I like the election night. That shit was fun. Yeah. But now it's like, No. Yeah. Politicians are supposed to be boring. This shit's supposed to be boring. You know, I come from a country where boring as hell. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we didn't need it to go 5 days or what, and it's not even over because it's going to be lawsuits and all that. Not like it's going to get weird.
Well,
I just feel it's going to get weird.
It's already weird, but I was like on these like gambling websites, right? I follow a lot of gambling trends and stuff like that. And that election on those gambling websites was over by Wednesday morning. It was already like Biden had built up such a lead in the odds that it was like over. And I was like,
really?
There's no way Trump's coming back. Yeah, he was like, by like Wednesday afternoon, Biden was like, because
I think Tuesday night he was getting his ass kicked.
He was at around
because I saw one site where it was Trump was like minus 700 or some crazy number like that, like
minus 450 or something. Yeah, but by 11:40 on Tuesday night, before midnight, it was starting.
Oh, it started to level out.
And then by the morning, Biden was a favorite, and then afternoon Biden was a favorite. But like CNN and all these fucking places, they're a business, and they're just gonna milk it out. Like, why would you say anything that isn't scary? Then people are gonna leave. You want to fucking scare people and be like, oh, it's close, it's this, that,
This is too close. Let's see what's in this county right now. The guy on the who's the guy on the map?
I love
talking about it. Yeah,
King. That guy's a lunatic, man.
He was all over the place. Let's see what
that guy didn't stutter one time.
No.
It was 72 hours. That guy was on point. He was just like shifting things. He like grabbed Alaska and he moved it back up. I'm like, this guy's out of control.
Yeah, that dude was dialed in. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly this county right here. Did you see the video? I guess whoever was running that board, like a YouTube banner came down. A YouPorn banner came down.
Oh, I heard about this.
Watched, and you watch his face, and his face just goes. He's starting to, we're gonna look at and you just watch the hand go, and he just flicks it off the screen. And I think they went to I think Wolf Blitzer was with him, and he's just kind of like, huh? What just happened? What was that? But it was was great.
I heard about it. I did not see it, but now I'm going to watch it.
The banner they got some state up, the banner drops, and it is like you just watch. He's got that look on his face, like a pissed off dad. Like
I guarantee you, if a titty was on that screen, and he was like fucking showing you Arizona, he would still know what county. He would be grabbing a nipple and be like, I know this place. That's Phoenix. He would know that for sure.
Put $1 on the TV.
Yeah.
Now, COVID, like we were talking about COVID before. What's like, all right, what's like one of the craziest, like COVID comedy is crazy right now. I feel so bad for you guys with where you got to perform. To me, it's easier to buy a kilo of cocaine right now than to actually go see a comedy show.
I'm
Just
I'm not
from, you know, from what
Yeah.
you see on social media, it's like, you got to DM me at this location and then knock 3 times and then ask for Steve and then do the, you know. So have you worked some whacked out shows yet? Oh, have you been doing like just a garage and backyards and things like that?
Yeah, I've been doing, parks.
Yeah.
I did backyards. I did
Yeah.
the back of a barber shop and like
Uh-huh.
rooftops. A lot of like rooftops are big right now. I did not birds shut up. And I did not do there's drive-in shows and I refuse to do
Yeah.
those.
I
I
saw the,
refuse.
yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not performing in front of a car. And then there was a drive-in show that they told people to beep
Yeah.
if they thought it was funny. And then apparently they complained, the people in the plaza complained, said it was too noisy. So they told them to flick their lights. I'm not doing that. I know I'll stay home. I'm not having like a bunch of headlights flicker at me if they like my comedy.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. You know, I've this whole break though, I have been pretty excited about just chilling a lot more instead of like trying to do all this and that and this and that. Because
Constantly running around. Yeah.
constantly running around, which what I'm normally accustomed to, but this time it's like, yeah, you got to do this. You got to go to a backyard and come through a stairwell, and then a guy's going to tap your head, and then you're going to go in and check your. It's like, for what? For 7 people? I'm not doing this shit. But yeah, there's been some wild shows, and just did I tell that story on stage about the park guy?
No.
I did a show at a park, and this guy, came up to me, and he was just like, hey, thanks for doing the show. And he was just telling me about the show and how much time I'm going to do. And he gave me like a mic cover, the little cover things. And then he's like, do you want a water? You want a Truly? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And he's like, do you want to, when do you want to go on? 3rd, 4th? I'm like, whatever you want, man. And then he like whistled and he started the show. He's like, it's time to start the show. And then another comedian came up to me and he was like, yo, that guy's just crazy. He has nothing to do with the show. He's a crazy man from the park. He just memorized the rhetoric of the booker, and now he does it every week. I'm like, that guy doesn't work for the show? And he's like, not at all. He's a crazy man. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Okay. He was good, though. He got me. I was like, I'd do a show that he put on.
Homeless comedy.
He didn't look homeless. He just looked insane. Or he was insane, but he looked normal.
I saw who was it? Sam Morrill.
Yeah,
he had a whole bunch of it. Like, just that guy had no luck. It seemed he worked like he had like no luck. Where he did a couple like backyard shows where the woman freaked out. Like the woman who owned the backyard came up to him drunk. I saw the video and she came up to him drunk. She basically like took the mic from him, tried to like, this is my house and this is what you're gonna do. I don't want to hear this. And he had one video of that. He had another video of a drunk guy just walking on the stage trying to leave. He thought that was the egg, just didn't. I like I said, I really feel for you guys and the men and women who do comedy with that going on. It's so like, and especially too, if you're someone like you, like you're really doing well in the business, you're progressing, and then like this just chops out your knees, man. Like you can't in a way like can't work anywhere, and
it's tough. But I don't know. Everyone approaches it differently. I think that things will be stronger once we get back. Like the Roaring 20s or whatever the fuck happened back. People are going to be so desperate to come out, so desperate to spend money. I think it's going to open doors for other things. It's going to suck probably for another year. I think, but if you could get over that, you're good to go.
Yeah,
I hope. What else am I supposed to say? It's over. What the fuck? You know, I moved from another place to be here. I had to get a green card. I had to do the whole thing. I can't quit now. I'm fucked.
Yeah, I think like you said, yeah, it's going to take like a year. Right now, what they say, they're expecting like a second wave coming in.
Yeah.
Got to deal with that. Hopefully they don't steal your olives. You get another packet, get another
There ain't no
cap.
way we're leaving olives unattended around the creeks.
Now, when you first started out,
yeah,
what got you into it?
A combination of not being really good at anything else. I had other jobs, I had other things. I wasn't really good at them. I wasn't good at school, so it's sort of easy to try everything once you're not good at anything. So but I also liked comedy. I liked stand-up comedy. I enjoyed, Chappelle and Eddie Murphy and all these people. And then I finally did it, and then I liked it, and then I just kept doing it. So
now you started in Canada or started here?
I started in Toronto. Yeah. I started in 2007, and I would, frequent, bars and comedy clubs for the first year and a bit, just to like, you want to see what's going on. Yeah. And then I did it. I saw a guy who's actually a friend of mine now, and he was sort of had a similar style that I thought that I could. I'm like, oh, this guy can do it. I can do it, but not in a bad way, in a positive way, because everyone else was a little like had more jokes. That I'm not really a joke. Like Morel's a joke guy. He's a machine.
Yeah.
I'm not that person. So it was refreshing to see another dude who's similar. So then I was like, okay, well, now I could try, and that was that.
Yeah, you have a very animated style on the stage. You are, you're like all over the place.
Yeah,
and it's like to go from like you said, like a Sam Morril type to you type. That's a great show because you're getting world, like
no, I that's the one great thing about New York. I mean, amongst other great things, but in terms of comedy, it's like you see people like Sam, who I know, and he's a great guy and stuff, and he's just so good at what he does, and it sort of makes you go, okay, that's a great comic doing his thing. That's amazing. But I don't do that. But I do something else that I can do that he probably can't. So I'm jealous of Sam, but I'm also like, I look at myself and go, I could do something else. Yeah. So there's a lot of people in New York who are so different and so good that you could sort of take from them or sort of, differentiate yourself from them.
Yeah, create your own. Good. Yeah, you're creating your own style.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So now, where are you, like, what are you doing to get by now in like this? Where do you go? Like, what do you have to do
financially?
Yeah.
Oh, well, luckily I did get a couple checks from the Canadian government, thank God.
Wow.
Which, for all intents and purposes, I'm in Canada right now. So if they are watching this, I'm in Toronto. Toronto, exactly. And then luckily I have some stuff that plays on the radio. So I do get a little bit residual checks on that. That helps me a lot. So that keeps me above water. And I haven't been spending that much money, honestly. I've been cooking more. I've been saving money. I've saved a lot of money actually during this pandemic. Obviously, it was a global shutdown. If I was spending more money, then there would be a real problem. So, that pretty much for the most part is it. Because I ain't working.
Yeah, it's like I said, I don't know how they're doing, how the comedians are doing it right now. Yeah. It's tough as it's some of the toughest things I've seen in a while. Just people with regular jobs that aren't working, that are just, I don't know how they're getting by.
Comedy's tough to make money when things are booming.
I see you on your Instagram. You make your picks every week.
I make my picks every day, but I am sour tonight. I do like Iowa at -3. Don't take them at 3.5. I think if you get them at 3, you're laughing. But again, this comes out on Sunday, so we won't. People are gonna be like, "What the fuck's this guy talking about?"
Yeah. Maybe you were ahead of the curve. Who knows? People might. Oh, I should have. What do you like Monday night? We got Vikings Bears. Who do you like?
Oh, it's so tough to make a pick so many days in advance because I do like to see who the public's on and I like to see where the money is and how the line moves. But right now, gun to my head, especially this year in the NFL, I think this is a stat. It's road divisional underdogs are 11-1. So I'll take the Bears at +2.5.
You heard it here, folks. Bet the house.
There's, for whatever reason, that game ain't going up to 3, and I think everyone's on the Vikings. So I think they want people on the Vikings. That's what I think. It's a line freeze.
All right, you heard it here.
I could be completely wrong. The Vikings win by 28. But
yeah.
Bears +2.5.
Bears plus. I like it. It's a good
pick. You
pick.
Gamble at all?
No, I never got into it. This is how degenerate of a kid I was in Catholic school. There used to be one kid a week who had an older brother who they used to have these betting sheets. I don't know if they had them in Canada. It was like a rectangular sheet. It was about 8 inches long. It had all the college games and then all the pro games on Sunday. And you would give like $1 and you could pick all the games. And whoever won the most games won the money. I never won. But this is like in Catholic school, before going into school, one kid was handing out sheets like, here,
you had little bookies in Catholic school?
Yeah, basically, games? Yeah. One kid would have.
How old were you guys?
Probably like 12 or 13 or something like that. Just one kid would have the sheets. One kid would show up and just be
was
like,
their dad a bookie? Like, how the hell these?
No one knew. The sheets just showed up because like these were the same sheets like grown men at bars were betting on. Like someone just got their hands on them and they just wound up at school. Like
for sure their dad was a bookie.
This was like all 5 boroughs, man. Like everyone knew these sheets. Like you would see the sheets on the floor, like on like a Tuesday afternoon because the Monday night game, and you would just see these sheets everywhere. It was
in the playground during recess,
just
the wind blowing them, on the hitting street, the teacher in the face.
I mean, at one point, I think it stopped maybe before you moved here. OTB, off track, betting the horses.
Yeah.
You used to be able to do that in the bar. There were certain bars that were hooked up with OTB. You go to the back of the bar, bet the ponies, and then sit down and hang out. And you go in. I remember going into certain bars that had the OTB, and you'd want to watch, like the Met game was on at 1:00. These old retired men were in there. And if you went up to, hey man, could you put the Met game?
No shot.
Don't you touch that fucking channel, guy. And they're watching like Pismo Beach fucking dog racing and
it was dogs?
It was everything. They had dogs, mostly it was all horses, like Pimlico, I think was the one. They had like all horse racing. Have you ever been to an OTB?
Horse race? One horse race in my life. I know nothing about horse racing. Nothing. But my buddy calls me, and this was like 2009, 2010. And he goes, yo, can you bet on horses on the site? Because I had like a site. And I was like, I don't know. Let me check. What Woodbine racetrack in Toronto? I'm like, I don't know. Let me check. So I'm like, yeah, I think I can. I could raise. Yeah, there's bets on it. They're available. And he's like, I got a lock. And I'm like, a lock? I'm like, I know you. You've never brought up a horse in your life. I've never heard you talk about a horse ever. Who the fuck are you? Tony Soprano? You know nothing about horses. What are you saying? You have a lock. And he's like, no, I know a guy at work. They're injecting this horse with steroids. He's ready to go. 3 p.m. He told me his name. Like, I forget his name, like Swiss Army Cheese or something like that. Like, he's ready to rock. This guy's going to kill it. This guy didn't leave the stable for like the first 10 seconds. He was just like in there. And then I don't even know if he finished. I was like, this horse is an idiot. Shoot him right after this race. He's a bum. I took it. I'm like, I'm never listening to you again. You're an idiot. So,
yeah, horse racing has like those sketchy dudes, man. Very like, and a couple of times up in, you know what that Yonkers casino is?
Yeah, I've done shows there. Oh God.
Now, That place in the late 80s, in the early 90s was
Empire.
Yeah, that was just the raceway. It was like a house of degenerates. It looked like the Star Wars bar. It had mutants everywhere. And
You
I'll
want to
never.
go to a show? Go to that one on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Oh, you think comedy's bad now in a park? Go to that show after people just lost everything, and now they're watching a comedy show. People, me and Mike Vecchione did that show one time. Woo, that was a rough one. Woo.
Yeah, that place before they redid it and made it, it was just like it was one of the saddest places on earth.
Well, they didn't redo the people.
No,
they're still disasters.
I still remember that it was like 10 o'clock at night. We were there. There was a guy walking around with like his 4-year-old daughter. I'm like, this guy just bet it had to be the rent, the mortgage, her car, whatever it is. That guy just bet it and he lost because he had his head down. I was like, oh my, if this ever happens to me, this is why I don't gamble. This is why I don't like gambling. Like it's fun here and there, but like when you see things like that, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's when it gets scary and it gets sad. But
yeah,
you got to balance it, just having fun with it. It's a great time. But once you start putting your kids, tuition up for up on a over under, it's over, So
yeah, I had a guy tell me one time we were at the track. I was like, I hit 2 in a row. I was like, yeah, man, I'm good at this. He just looked at me. He goes, you're good at this? He goes, when you could pay your bills on this, then you're good at this. He goes, you're lucky right now, guy. Enjoy this. All right. Because you're probably going to lose the next 7 in a row.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
And I actually knew a guy at one time that was a bookie. And he goes, listen, man, he goes, there's weeks I'm up 10 grand and there's weeks I'm down 10 grand.
Yeah.
But the house always wins.
No, he's absolutely right.
He said, he goes, I just got to ride out the storm and I'll be fine.
No, yeah, for sure. It is the people get a little greedy and then, they want to win more. And then when they lose, they want to get back to even. It's a disaster. You got to have discipline and no one does. So.
Yeah. I see. That's why I would have if I was up big, then you can't lose. You got to keep going. I've seen too many of my friends is like, nah, I'm up this. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then it's what happened with that last game. Oh, well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When people start going numb and they don't start talking about how they're doing anymore, then they're up Schitt's Creek with one paddle. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah.
Now, what else? You know what I wanted to ask you? Who were your influences growing up to get into stand-up? Who was the guy? Chappelle was your guy?
Chappelle, I mean, one of many, Chappelle, obviously Eddie Murphy was the first guy I saw. Delirious was the first thing I saw. I loved Louis. I still do, but he hasn't come out with anything obviously in a while. I loved Burr, Chris Rock. I love Billy Connolly. I don't know if you know him.
Yes, the Scottish guy. Yes,
he's incredible.
I think he's got. Does he have dementia right now?
He has something's up with him. I think
not. He's not well.
He's not doing well. Yeah. No. I mean, Pryor, obviously. Yeah. Now I have so many, people that I really like. But before I did this, those were the people. Yeah.
Did you watch at all the Comedy Store documentary?
No. When did that come out? Recently?
Yeah, it was just on Showtime. I think it was 4 episodes or 5 episodes of the store.
I barely watch comedy, anything related to comedy anymore.
Really?
It's just, I don't care anymore. It's just like, I would rather so much talk about anything else than comedy. Not politics, but anything else.
One last thing before we wrap it up. Where do you see yourself the next 5 years? What's your plan?
Well, there was this put a little wrench in this little pandemic put a wrench in the plans. So this 5 years, let's make it 7, maybe 8 years. I don't know. My goal is I want to, combine comedy and sports. I want to work in one of these fields, or for both, to some sort of capacity. I'm trying to figure out how I can get both involved in my life.
Comedy, sports show or something like that. That would be, yeah.
That would ideally be my thing. I've never been anybody who wanted to be like on Saturday Night Live, or like even be in a movie. Like I don't even care. I would rather definitely work in sports and within comedy, and have something along those lines of a career.
Well, it's like, it's so amazing now for like comedians, especially comedians, where you don't need network television anymore. You don't need movie. It's the Alex Pavone channel on YouTube. You want to get you want to get this, you want to get that out. And that Comedy Cellar documentary was actually stressing that, how like, all right, Alex Pavone now has a podcast. Alex Pavone has his little YouTube show. He puts out stuff on Instagram. Guys like Andrew Schultz, just those multimedia guys now, where it's that old formula of where those guys had to do the Tonight Show and clean a clean act to then get onto TV is now gone. And now it's basically,
I know, it's
get
crazy.
somewhere, get to Joe Rogan, you're a superstar, and then you try and like write your own ticket and, do your own social media.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know people on, obviously, people on TV, people who are on shows, and then, and like, I know Andrew, and he's more famous and popular than people on like NBC.
Yeah.
My friend of mine, I was actually talking about him earlier, the guy seen new stand-up from Toronto. He's on a show on like Hulu, and a popular show. I think they won an Emmy and stuff. He's on the subway. No one really even knows who the guy is. Schultz. You go anywhere with Andrew, and the guy gets mobbed. It's crazy. It's just crazy how everything's shifted. It's nuts. So,
well,
is what it is.
Alex, I wish you the best, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. This was super fun. I really enjoyed it, and I really like how you're from New York, and you're an old school guy from New York, and you sort of give the new people in the city a little bit of a history lesson. That's really cool.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Do you have anything you want to get out there?
No, just follow me on Instagram.
Follow at Alex Pavone.
Mr. Alex Pavone.
Mr. Alex Pavone on Instagram. He's got great pics. Follow Alex.
Not this week.
It comes around. It'll come around. It comes in waves, baby.
Stupid Tennessee Titans punter. What a moron.
I watched part of that game last night.
They jinxed the idiot was punting, and they were like, "Oh, this guy was a FedEx driver at the beginning of the year." Like, why are you saying that he was a FedEx driver? Let the guy kick. And then, sure enough, he shanks one out in 20 yards, and then he gets the next one blocked. Fucking idiot. No wonder he's a FedEx driver. He's a moron.
This guy hasn't muffed a punt in 98 tries.
Oh, I can't stand that. I hate when guys, I mute it, and I go to the other room, and I just put my head down. And I just go, fuck me. The guys.
You feel bad. I've been a Giant. I'm a lifelong Giant fan. How do you think I feel the last 5 years? It's been horrible.
Oh my God.
It's been horrible.
Stop. You won 2 Super Bowls.
I've been alive for all 4 of them. I saw all 4,
Well, in the last 2 years, and the 2 Super Bowls you've won, you beat the Patriots twice.
Yeah.
That's 4 Super Bowls, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raptors won the championship. That was the probably greatest night of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. That was incredible. So, you're good.
Oh, all right. I feel better now. Thank you, Alex. Alex Pavone, everybody. Check him out on Instagram. Support local comedy. All right. Bye-bye.